Okay, talking about this movie. Well, this is going to be one of those reviews to where I'm going to be somebody who is on the polar opposite now. 29% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, not really one of Steven Spielberg's best works at all. And I know Julia Roberts, I heard that she was not a pleasant person to work with behind the scenes. But not going into that, just looking at this film as an overall principle, I'm just going to come out and say that I don't think Hook is as bad of a movie as many people say it is. Well, I shall tell you. Peter Banning, who was played by Robin Williams, and obviously when you see Robin Williams, there's always some sort of sense of joy, whether he's playing as a comedian or a serious role. There's always some sort of warmth that you feel whenever you watch him. Because the guy is so relatable with whatever you see from him. If it's a comedy act or if it's something that he said in an interview, movie, you name it. We all loved Robin Williams. Now, Peter Banning, or formerly known as Peter Pan, he unfortunately grew up, forgot his childhood, and became an important businessman, working a shitload, missing his son's baseball game, but attending more to his daughter's play. Now, his kids unfortunately get kidnapped by Captain Hook, who was played by Dustin Hoffman. Now, after meeting Tinkerbell once again, who was played by Julia Roberts, she flies him back to Neverland, where he needs to reconnect himself as Peter Pan to save his kids from the dreadful Captain Hook. Well, that's the story right there, and the story is straightforward to the point. But the thing is that why do I like this film? Well, it's like a what-if type of scenario, because we all know who Peter Pan is. He's the boy who never grows up. He lives in Neverland. His arch nemesis is Captain Hook. He meets Wendy, John, and Michael. He flies them to Neverland. They have their adventures with the Native Americans, the mermaids, Captain Hook's crew, and so on. Literally, going to Neverland, it's literally, this particular story, just Peter Pan in general, is the definition of what a fantasy and adventure is all about, using your imagination to create something. But that's what the world of Disney was, and Peter Pan was one of those imaginative stories. But the thing is that Peter Pan, that particular story was written some time ago, and there was a movie called Finding Neverland that was literally giving the whole story of how Peter Pan was created and how it was inspired. But we're not going to talk about that. We're talking about this one, as this is a particular of a telling of a scenario where if Peter Pan actually grew up, he became an adult, he outlived that particular mark of him being the boy who never grew up, and he actually did. He got a wife, he got family, and he just became wealthy and a businessman, and he just ended up coming just so busy all the time. But the story itself is very interesting, because it's like a very what if scenario of like if this actually did happen. And I think Robin Williams is a very interesting role who played Peter Pan, or Peter Banning, Peter Pan, whatever you want to call him. I think this role was very an interesting perspective for Robin Williams to play this particular as a businessman and to give an adult looking Peter Pan. So the whole premise, just thinking about it and just seeing it, is something watchable in a bit of a popcorn type of scenario. Especially where he goes into detail of how he originally was Peter Pan and how he ended up getting older. Especially what the cause was. It's interesting. And it shows very, very interesting perspective of the flashback itself. Dustin Hoffman, I thought he did a very good job playing as Captain Hook. I thought the set itself was really nice. I thought the premise looked nice, the Lost Boys, selection of them, their personalities, the various games that they used to play and everything, trying to help Peter Pan reconnect with his youth once again, showing him. But the thing is that no matter whatever the Lost Boys tried to do, especially this one kid, Rufio, there wasn't really much of a story back behind his character of who he is, how he ended up becoming the leader of the Lost Boys temporarily before Peter Pan came back. So there really wasn't much of a backstory for him. But also, you do learn a little bit about the Lost Boys and their happy thought, especially the big chubby kid, what his happy thought it was. That's all what Peter Pan needed was to reconnect of what his happy thought was. Going back to the flashback of his old treehouse of where he, Wendy, Michael, and John used to hang out, tell their stories, and just live in the world of fantasy and imagination of escaping from reality and just live as a kid. Youthfulness. So, the thing is, it was all about Peter Pan having that happy thought once again. Not about training or reconnecting with playing the games and all that. It was about him rediscovering himself with the happy thoughts. And I thought that was a nice little story. Now, as for the young kids who played in the film, the little girl actually played in Uncle Buck as well. So she had some interest. She had some roles in some movies, playing in comedy, family-friendly films, and this right here was one of them. So the kids themselves, they did their part. They did what they could to make their roles worth it. Nothing really much exciting for me to really care about. Dustin Hoffman, he took the bait for me. He was just hilarious. I thought he was hilarious. I liked how he was playing Captain Hook. See, I think a lot of these particular roles, I think they just wanted to have fun with it. And I think Dustin Hoffman had a lot of fun playing as Captain Hook. There was a lot of fucking cameos, celebrity cameos, and I honestly think sometimes this movie was a rip. Gwyneth Paltrow played as a young Wendy Darling, Carrie Fisher, Tony Burton, David Crosby, Jimmy Buffett, Phil Collins, Glenn Close, George Lucas. A lot of these names literally played some cameo roles in this film just to, I think, give Steven Spielberg a bit of a kick. But like I said, I think there was a lot of these cameo roles were a rip. But then again, that's just speaking one man's thoughts. So when I saw a lot of these well-known people in this film, I was like, yeah, especially Phil Collins playing as the cop. I think he was having a lot of fun with that role. So it was nice seeing those cameo names. Now, the story itself, like I said, it's a very mind-thinking perspective of a what-if scenario. I thought the film itself didn't look as bad. I had fun with Dustin Hoffman. I thought Robin Williams did a very interesting job playing as the adult Peter Pan and as Peter Pan looking as an adult, both family and retelling. I thought the set itself looked really neat, very atmospheric, colorful. So I thought the set looked really nice, and the movie itself, to me, it's a family popcorn film where if I sat down just to watch it, just for some sort of enjoyment, or just want to watch it for the sake of watching, this would be one of those movies. Now, Julia Roberts as Tinkerbell, not really my favorite display of Tinkerbell, honestly. I honestly think she was just a little bit too fucking depressing for my watching. But then again, like I said, the behind the scenes, yeah, not really something that I can honestly support. So, Hook, I thought the movie itself, it's kind of fun. I don't think it's as bad as many people think it is. It's got an interesting story. I think the actors and actresses were having fun with their roles. The retelling of how Peter Pan was able to connect with his childhood, some flashback sequences, nice looking sets. It was shot okay. And I think this movie was just, to me, just something that people can have fun with, both performing or watching. So that's what I gave Hook. I was actually generous enough to give this movie a solid 3 out of 5. It's a popcorn film, and it's passable because it's entertaining. So, that's going to do it for my little review of Hook for you all. Let me know down below your thoughts about it, if you like it, or if you think it's fine, or if you don't like it. Let me know down below, and as always, folks, ciao for now.